Kind greetings to you all. This is Mwalimu Arnold Sekago. We continue with our series of lectures on carbonyl compounds. Carbonyl compounds, we had covered something which I did not complete comprehensively. What was that? Something I did not complete. I think my screen has a problem. Yeah, I assume that all your endeavors are quite challenging, but you are trying to adapt. Yeah. So alternatively, I was saying that alternatively, the equations above for oxidation can have the following formulations. For example, we saw that, recall that, yes, I'm on. Recall that, we saw that if I have RCHO with acidified potassium manganese 7 solution acidified with what? Dilute sulfuric acid and heat, we get a carboxylic acid. Now, in terms of redox form, alternatively, one can write that equation as follows. We are saying that RCHO is oxidized by the strong oxidizing agent to carboxylic acid. Yeah, so you realize that. So what am I going to see here? What am I going to do? I am going to do the following. I am going to balance. I'm going to balance oxygen atoms using water. Then I also balance hydrogen atoms. Using hydrogen ions. So I have one R this side, one R the other side. I have one carbon atom this side, one carbon atom the other side, one H this side, one H the other side. The oxygens are the ones which are not balancing. This side I have 2 oxygens, this side I have 1. So I need to have 2 oxygens this side. I have said balance oxygen atoms using water. So this side add plus H2O. However, if I add H2O, it creates 2 hydrogens. The other side, which are not this side, therefore I add them this side. And to balance hydrogen, you just add 2 hydrogen ions. Then you also balance the charges. On the left, look at the left-hand side, I have charge 0. On the left-hand side, I have charge 0. On the right-hand side, I have plus 2. So to come up with charge 0, I add 2 electrons. Then for potassium permanganate is taken to manganese 2 ions. Now look at the left-hand side, I have one N, right-hand side, I have one Mn. Mn1 on the left, Mn1 on the right. On the left, I have 4 oxygens. We balance oxygen using water. Therefore, this side, I add 4 H2O. Because of the 4 oxygens, now the 4 H2O creates 8 hydrogens, the other side, which are not on the left-hand side. Therefore, I add 8 hydrogen ions, like that. Then 8 hydrogen ions, so I have -1 plus 8, meaning that I'll have plus 7. -1, the negative on MnO4, and 8 plus on hydrogen. That is a charge of +7. Then the other side I have +2, meaning that I should reduce on this +7. How do I reduce on it? I add 5 electrons this side. So therefore, these are the two equations which I'm having. So to come up with the overall equation, I add the two equations, making sure that the electrons cancel out. So to ensure that the electrons cancel out, since for the second equation I have 5 electrons, I'll put 5 up, and since for the first equation I have 2 electrons, I'll put 2 down. Therefore, adding the two equations, we get 5 RCHO liquid plus 2 MN4 AQ. These two multiplies here. Then look at what I have here. I have 2 times 8 hydrogens, that is 16. Now I am on hydrogens. 2 times 8 hydrogens, that is 16. Then up here I have 5 times 2. 5 times 2, those are 10 hydrogens. So you see, I have too much hydrogen on the left. I have too much hydrogen on the left because 2 times 8, I have 16. But 5 times 2, I have 10. Therefore, this 10 goes on the left because it's where I have too much hydrogen. So if it goes on the left, I'll have 16 minus 10. 16 minus 10, those are 6 hydrogen ions. Then you look at water. I have 5 times H2O. 5 times H2O. However, down here I have 2 times 4. 2 times 4, those are 8 water molecules. So I have too much water on the right. I have too much water on the right. Therefore, 5 has to come on the right. So that I get 5. No? So 5 has to come on the right. Yeah. I am going to deal with that later on. So this 5 times up here, where we have our carboxylic acid, times up there where we have the carboxylic acid, 5 CHO, C. Then the hydrogen ions are not there, they were taken the other side. Then plus 2 Mn2 plus AQ. Then water, I have 8. I have 8, but the other 5 is going to come this side, so plus. If the other 5 comes this side, 8 minus 5, that is 3H2O. That is the equation. Now I take a specific example. If I take a specific example, if it is ethanol, I have said ethanol will be taken to, ethanol is taken to ethanoic acid. Ethanol is taken to ethanoic acid. So look at the carbon atoms on the left, they are 2. On the right, carbon atoms are also 2. Look at hydrogen atoms on the left, they are 4. On the right, they are also 4 hydrogens. Hydrogen is balancing. Look at oxygen on the left, it is 1 oxygen. On the right, I have 2 oxygens, meaning that I have to add another oxygen on the left to ensure that if the other side I have 2, so this side I have 2. And to balance oxygen, we need water. So I need, since I am in need of 1 oxygen atom, I'll add plus 1 mole of water. Adding 1 mole of water creates 2 more hydrogens on the left, which do not exist on the right. Therefore, those ones which I have created, I add them on the right. Yeah, but we balance hydrogen using hydrogen ions. Look at what is on the left. The charge is 0. On the right, the charge is +2. Therefore, to have charge 0, this side, I have to add 12. Then for potassium permanganate, MnO4 negative, potassium permanganate, this is taken to, it is reduced by the aldehyde to manganese 2 ions. Manganese atoms are balancing. On the left-hand side, I have one manganese. On the right-hand side, I have one manganese. On the left-hand side, I have 4 oxygens which do not appear on the right-hand side. Therefore, I balance oxygen atoms by adding 4 moles of water on the right-hand side. Creating 4 moles of water on the right-hand side creates additional 8 hydrogens which do not exist on the left-hand side. Therefore, the left-hand side, I have to add 8 hydrogens. Now, we look at now the charges. On the left-hand side, we have 8 plus 8. This 8 multiplies up so that you have plus 8 minus 1, which is plus 7. But on the right, I have plus 2. So you see, on the left, I have too much, which is plus 7. So I need to reduce plus 7 to plus 2. What do? I add 5 electrons. So I add the 2 equations and ensure that electrons are cancelling out. So to ensure that electrons cancel out, I multiply 5 up and 2 down. So what will I have? I'll have the 5 multiplies up, I have 5 CH3 CHO. Then also, if 2 multiplies down, plus 2 MnO4. Plus, now 5 multiplies up. It multiplies up, so I have 5H2O. It multiplies up, I have 5H2O. However, if this 2 multiplies down, look at where I'm highlighting. If 2 multiplies down, I have 8H2O, meaning that much of the water is on the right. Much of the water is on the right. Therefore, this 5 will come on the right where I have much of water, so that I have 8. This 2 multiplies the 2 here, multiplies the 4 here. So I'll have 8 minus the 5. Then for hydrogens, I have 2 times 8. 2 times 8, that is 16. 2 times 8, those are 16 hydrogens. Then up, for the first equation, up I have 10 hydrogens. Yeah, so 10 hydrogens. For the second equation, I have 16 hydrogens. So the too much hydrogen is on the left. Too much hydrogen is on the left. So I have 16. So this 10 will have to come on the left so that I have 16 minus 10. So there are 6 hydrogen ions, giving me 5 ethanoic acid plus 2 manganese ions. Then water, 4, the 2 multiplied with this 4, so I have 8. 8 minus also the 5 here, so plus 3 water molecules. That is for analdehyde. Analdehyde with potassium permanganate. Now I look at analdehyde with the potassium dichromate 6. I'll still remind you, recall that we saw that if one has an aldehyde with acidified potassium dichromate 6, acidified with dilute sulfuric acid, heat, what do you get? You get carboxylic acid. Now I want to claim that alternatively one can come up with the following. We are claiming that the aldehyde is taken to a carboxylic acid. So you look at R on the left-hand side, I have 1 R. On the right-hand side, I have 1 R. So the R's are balancing. Left-hand side, 1 carbon, right-hand side, 1 carbon. Left-hand side, 1 hydrogen, right-hand side, 1 hydrogen. Left-hand side, 1 oxygen, right-hand side, 2 oxygens. So you see, on the left-hand side, the oxygens are not enough. So to balance oxygen, we add H2. Adding H2O creates 2 additional hydrogens. I added them because they are on the left-hand side, but they are not existing on the right-hand side. So therefore, on the right-hand side, I add 2 hydrogen ions. Adding 2 hydrogen ions on the right-hand side will mean that on the right-hand side, I have a charge of +2. I have +2, but on the left, I have 0. I have charge 0. there is nothing which is having a charge on the left. Nothing is having a charge on the left. So there is charge 0. So to ensure that I have charge 0 on the right, I add 12. Then I also look at dichromate 6. Dichromate 6 is taken to chromium 3 ions. It's taken to chromium 3 ions. Now you see, on the left-hand side, I have 2 atoms of chromium. So I will need the 2 here. Then I look at oxygen. I look at oxygen. There are 7 oxygens on the on the left. So this side I add 7H2O. 7H2O creates 14 hydrogens, which I must also add this side. Now look at the charges on the left. On the left, I have 14 minus 2. 14 minus 2 is 12. 14 minus 2 is 12. Then 2 times 3, that is plus 6. So you see, on the left I have plus 12. On the left I have plus 12. On the right I have plus 6. Plus 6 times 3, that is plus 6. So I have to reduce on the charge on the left-hand side. So we add 6 electrons. So I have to add the 2 equations, ensuring that electrons cancel out. So to ensure that electrons cancel out, you see, for the first equation, there are 2 electrons. For the second equation, there are 6 electrons. So up here, I'll multiply by 3, down I'll multiply by 1. So that those electrons become equal. Now, the overall equation becomes, up by 3, we have 3RCHO plus, down I am multiplying with a 1. So I will have R2O7 plus plus what? We look at hydrogen. See here, these are 14 hydrogens. Then up here I have 3 times 2. 3 times 2, those are 6 hydrogens. So there's these 6 hydrogens. Since too much of hydrogen is on too much of hydrogen ions is on the left. The 6 hydrogen ions will go on the left. So that I have 14 minus 6. 14 minus 6. The 6 hydrogen ions will go on the left, so that I have 14 minus 6. What is 14 minus 6? 14 minus 6. Is it 8? 8 hydrogen ions. Then giving us 3. Then for water, okay, before water, there is also 2 chromium 3 ions. Chromium 3 ions. Then also look at what? Look at water. Look at water. Here I have 7H2O. I have 7H2O, but here I have 3H2O. See? 7 minus, too much of water is on the right. So the 3H2O will go on the right. So that I have 7 minus 3. 7 minus 3, those are 4 H2O. So that is the equation I am having. Now, one can also take a specific example. This is for dichromate 6. One can take a specific example of still ethanol. Ethanol is taken to, okay, maybe I change to another, because the other time I used it. Propanol. Propanol is taken to propanoic acid. propanoic acid. This is not propanoic acid. This is ethanoic acid. Propanoic acid is CH3, CH2, COOH. Like that. So now look at what you have on the left. The hydrogens are equal. Carbons are equal. Oxygens are the ones which are not equal. Therefore, since on the right you have 2 oxygens and on the left you have 1 oxygen, I'll add 1 mole of water on the left. Adding 1 mole creates 2 hydrogen ions. And I'll also add 2 electrons. Then for dichromate 6, dichromate 6 is taken to chromium 3 ions. I put a 2 to balance atoms of chromium. I also put 7 H2O. Because of the 7 atoms of oxygen, then I add 14 hydrogens this side. The charges are not balancing. Here I have 14. I have 14 minus 2. 14 minus 2, that is plus 12. But this side I have plus 6. So to reduce on the plus 12, here I add 6 electrons. To ensure that electrons cancel out in both equations, I multiply the first equation by 3 and the second equation by 1. Therefore, adding the 2 equations, we shall have 3 CH3, CH2, CHO, liquid. Then plus Cr2O7, that is 1. Then for hydrogen ions, look at hydrogen ions. On the left-hand side, I have 14. On the right-hand side, I have 6. So this side, 14 minus 6, we shall have 8 hydrogen ions, giving us 3 propanoic acid, 2 chromium 3 ions. Then plus 7H2O. So 7 minus 3, those are 4 H2O. I think this is enough. You can think about this. Now, think about this question. Formulate, don't only think about it. Kindly do this rigorous work. Formulate the same equations. Formulate the same equations for oxidation. Formulate the same equations for oxidation of no, sorry, I wanted to say oxidation of a ketone. Ketones are not oxidized. They are not oxidized. I think I was recording a secondary alcohol. Yeah, because secondary alcohols are oxidized here. So I have been able, ketones are not oxidized here. So we have seen this. Yeah. Have it in mind that these equations can also be written in forms of half equations, which I have done. Maybe what you can think about, this is the question. Let us have this one. Formulate the redox. Formulate the redox half equations for RCHO taken to a carboxylic acid. Taken to a carboxylic acid using acidified manganese 4 oxide. Using acidified manganese 4 oxide and heat. Formulate the redox surf equations for that equation. Now we have seen what happens for the aldehyde. That one we have seen. But I want to give you a hint and tell you that MnO2, this is taken to MnE2 plus. You are very serious learners, and I think that you can formulate those equations and come up with the full equation. So allow me first stop there.